Hello and welcome to OPACA's Shop Talk series, online edition. This is Heyday. My name is Mel Limas, and before we get started, I want to introduce OPACA to you. The Ontario Professional Ag Contractors Association started in 2017 to fill a growing gray area in agriculture. As you know, more and more farmers are relying on custom operators to do one or more of their field operations, whether that's forage harvesting, manure application, or spraying. And these contractors face different regulations, different rules of the road, labor laws, and just different business issues. So this is an organization just for contractors to represent us to government, to promote our member services to farmers, and to support us to be all that we can be. We have a new website at opaca.net that has a find a contractor feature. So we hope that you'll take advantage of it and that it'll be a useful tool to reach new customers. So now I'm going to introduce Mark to you. Mark Limas is going to be your moderator. He's also the vice president of the OPACA board and is with Limas Farms Limited, offering full line of custom work to North Perth, North Wellington area, from planting, spraying, combining, strip till and cover cropping, and a lot of forage harvesting. Take it away, Mark.
Thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks for making the drive. Hope you enjoy the comfort of your own home. First up, we'll hear from Oxbow International. So we have here, Jonathan Dendecker is on this call. He's the sales rep from Delta Power at St. Mary's. But the presentation, we'll hear from Steve Pesic. So he's sitting in Wisconsin, which is pretty neat, the way the local internet works. So Steve is the North American market manager for forage mergers and manure equipment for Oxbow International. He's been at Oxbow since 2014 and has 30 years of farm equipment experience, both at manufacturer and retailer levels. Oxbow forage mergers are manufactured in Byron, New York, not even that far from here, and are distributed through farm equipment dealers in the US and Canada. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks Jonathan at Delta Power, our dealer in Ontario, for inviting us to this event, and hopefully we can provide some information that would be helpful for you. So when we talk about mergers, if I can get my screen to move, and it won't, there we go. Obviously, there's a lot of different raking options. There's a lot of different ways to rake hay, and most of these probably cost you less to purchase than a merger does. So, what makes a merger worthwhile? So a higher nutritional quality of merged forage, basically by making a better quality forage for you. We can accomplish that by wide swathing using the hay in a day concept to get much faster and consistent than traditional windrows, a better quality, no roping of the windrow. As I say, more weather control hay in a day, preserving that forage and being able to harvest it at the optimal time, reducing the dirt and leaf loss, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But also for productivity, you can merge at speeds up to 12 miles an hour, depending on your crop conditions. You can put 80 feet of hay or more into a windrow. Obviously, larger windrows make your forage harvester more efficient. Also, you don't need to follow a windrow. You can follow any type size of mower or 3 conveyors. You can operate independently to make whatever windrow size fits your operation. Merging rather than raking, the reason it reduces ash content is because we pick the crop up straight up off the ground and convey it off the ground rather than dragging it across the ground. What does that do for you? Basically, reducing ash content. This is a study that was done by the University of Wisconsin talking about ash content in hay and silage. And their study showed that depending on the type of rake you were using, that a merger can reduce ash content by 1 to 2%. So what does that mean in terms of dollars for you? This was a study done by Tom Kilser. He was basically the inventor of the hay in the day concept, and they did studies showing that 2% ash, if you went from 9 to 11% ash, it knocks 1.9 pounds of milk production off per cow per day. When you start adding that up by the number of cows that you have, your customers have, that's a real big savings, more production. You can help your customers be more productive. Obviously, just having a merger doesn't automatically improve your quality. You need to also properly operate and maintain it. Some of the things that we see, you don't want the merger pickup to touch the ground. Primarily, it causes the contact in the ground adds to your ash content. So we look at stubble height, seedbed preparation, and machine operation. Leave a lot of stubble. Not only does it make your merger wear and perform better, but the hay dries better if it's up off the ground, and it promotes good regrowth. Don't run the tines into the ground. The reason you spent the money for a machine to reduce your ash and dirt content is not to mention you can damage the heads also. If possible, try not to drive on the hay with wide swathing. That isn't always possible, but when you push the hay into the ground, you can leave streaks into the field. Talk a little specifically about the Oxbow mergers, our 2000 series mergers that we introduced in 2018. Our goal was to improve the productivity of the hay harvest, to design a merger that had higher capacity to handle larger crop volumes. More people are using winter forages, triticale, those types of things, to go at higher speeds and improve windrow quality so you can increase the forage harvester speed also. Currently, we have the 2330 and the 2334, 30-foot and 34-foot. We just introduced, and some of you may have seen some of our information on this, our new 2340 40-foot pickup that's available for 2021. You could talk to Delta about the new model. The other thing that we introduced last year for the smaller people, if you're for the dry hay or smaller operations, is our 2112 and 2140. It's a single head pull type merger, has all the same features as our larger mergers. We actually use all of the same components. We have a 12-foot pickup and a 14-foot pickup. As you see, the head looks exactly the same. Center swing chassis, so you can go left, right. A very simple switch control, so you can switch your conveyor left, right, or off. A very cost-efficient merger that for smaller operations, or especially, as I say, some of the dry hay operations. All of our machines feature heavy-duty drive pickup motors to handle that heavy crop. We use a split tine, rubber-mounted tines to handle the crop gently and pick up less rocks. Our cam profile places the crop further back on the conveyor so you get a smoother windrow. We all have 40-inch wide conveyors to handle the heavy crop. We slope the conveyor back 5 degrees to move it back so you get the full use of your conveyor belts. We have drive motors on each end of the conveyor, so you're always pulling, never pushing the belt or the crop, and the conveyors can be switched to discharge your crop in either direction. Why buy our Oxbow mergers? It's so simple. It's the original proven design, great reliability. We built them from the beginning for the custom operator, been field tested on thousands of acres. We do use a simple, proven mechanical rear wheel steering, and increases your maneuverability, follows your tractor. In the end, if you're looking at value, the high demand for used Oxbow mergers has always helped assure trade-in values. Proven durability results in lower maintenance costs, simple design and components, lower parts replacement costs, belts, electronic components. Add it all up, lower maintenance costs, higher resale value equals a lower cost of ownership for you. That's all I have. I certainly look forward to talking to any of you later, or if you have any questions later on, be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Steve. Just one comment while we're getting the next presentation up. So just looking at the new series versus the older series of Oxbow. Simple thing I noticed, the tires are a little different. Like, what size tires on the back of that machine? Or you or Jonathan could chime in, I guess.
Yep. It's a 455 by 22.5 tire. That is a bigger tire than we had on the other machines. Adds more flotation, carries a heavier load. The machine carries a heavier load. It's a little bit bigger machine, but customers had asked for, and that's a more of a common size tire also with the 22.5 if somebody needs a replacement, obviously. But it gives us a better flotation and better handling on the road also.
Thanks. And yeah, we can talk more with about Oxbow in the breakout rooms later. So up next, we have a presentation from Kuhn, delivered by Ken McCann. Ken is the Ontario Territory Manager for Kuhn since 2017. Take it away, Ken.
Okay. It tells me I'm sharing my screen here, but I can't see it online.
Yeah, we can see it. You can go to present it. Looks great.
Okay, Steve did a very good presentation there and covered a lot of the stuff I was going to cover. So I'm going to change gears and talk a little bit about the Kuhn merger product and offering here. So thank you to Mel and Mark for organizing this meeting today. I know a lot of work went into it, and it's an honor to be able to present to all of you. Just a little bit about Kuhn real quickly. In 2002, Kuhn bought out the company Knight Manufacturing in Broadhead, Wisconsin. This is a picture of our factory there now. It's been expanded greatly, and that factory is where all the mergers that we offer in North America are built. One other thing I just wanted to touch base with everybody and offer to, this is a free app that's available through the App Store. It works for all hay equipment, Kuhn or other brands. It's really good to help size a tedder, a rake, a merger to your mower. Simple to use. You go in there, type in the width of your machine. You can move the windrows sideways to line up with the machine, and you can move the machines up and down to line up with the windrows. So I'd encourage anybody, it's available in the App Store. It's called Kuhn Forage Expert. I believe if we search Forage Expert, you can download it. So just to get into the Kuhn commercial merger contract here a little bit, we have several models. Our model numbering system is common across the line. MM stands for Merge Max, and then the number, the first of the number is width in meters, and then the very last digit is the series. Now we're going to go through a model change here first of the year, and that 0 will be switching to 1. And I don't know a lot of details on the new models, but I'd be happy to talk about it in a breakout room. Some of them offer currently offer a 24 and a 30-foot merger in a twin pickup style. The 24 consists of two 12-foot pickups, and the 30-foot is two 15-foot pickups. And then a couple of years ago, we introduced our bigger mergers. These are triple mergers. The 1100 is 36 feet wide pickup. It consists of three 12-foot pickups. And the MM 1300 was introduced last year. It's 42 feet. It has a 12-foot pickup in the center, and the two outside pickups are 15 feet. All the machines with the new model number will be going full ISOBUS. So all the controls for the machine will be available on the tractor monitor. You won't have to have a separate control box in the tractor. I apologize if I keep looking to my right. That's where my notes are. This is just a diagram of our delivery options. We can deliver everything to the left, everything to the right, or we can run pickups in separate directions to go one or two to the left and one to the right, whatever works. We can also operate our mergers with one wing up in transport position if we're working on point rows or you're in a narrow spot in the field. The MM890 was our first isobus machine. We introduced it last year. It's our 30-foot model. And with that, we introduced a belt stall indicator called OptiSense on it. So what that does for us, and I assume it's going to be on all our new models, is it's just a sensor on the idle roller of the belt that detects when the belt speed starts to drop, indicating that you may be plugging the machine, and it'll start barking at you in the cab. If you don't pay attention to that alarm, we also have another option called cleanout mode that you can do right from the monitor, and that will lift the wings up to headland mode and reverse the main belt so that hopefully you don't have to get out of the tractor to clear your plugging issue. This is one of the big features we like to talk about on our machine. It shows two actually here, the netting on top for leaf retention and our floating wind guard that creates a positive connection to the pickup tines. So we get a nice even feed into the pickup, which translates into a very nice fluffy windrow that increases the productivity of your forage harvester as you go up and down the field. I'm just going to stop that and go to the next screen. Transport width is becoming more of an issue, especially with contractors that cover a lot of miles on the roads every year. The twin mergers, the 700 and the 890, they fold into a 10-foot 3-inch road transport, and our triple mergers will fold into a 12-foot 1-inch travel width, and they will use 10 gallons per minute to fold up the wings, and you can be in road mode in 12 seconds. And that's about all I got. Mel didn't even have to cut me off today.
I had to turn your video off though, sadly, because
Did it not work very good?
no, the audio was cutting out, so I wanted to be sure we all heard you. But the presentation came through great. Thank you so much, Ken.
No problem.
Thanks, Ken. There was a question that came up about a ground contour, like the tracking system, the pivoting, oscillating of the merger. Can you speak at all to the system on the Coon, like what allows it to oscillate, or how many degrees, do you know?
Well, I don't have that in front of me. We use a spring system on the heads of the merger. I'll have that in the breakout room. I've got it here. I just don't have it in front of me. I don't want to say the wrong number. So
Yep,
we do
fair
have
enough.
that.
Yeah, that isobus compatibility, that isobus system is a nice feature too. As an operator, I'm really glad that manufacturers are consistently coming out with that.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's move on into the next presentation here. Sorry, my phone froze on me. We're talking with Leading Edge Equipment out of Beachville, Ontario, presenting on the ROC hay merger. I'm not sure if I can call it ROC or if I can stick with ROC. Anyways, we'll be hearing from Kirk Walkarius. He has worked with Leading Edge for 8 years, 2 years in sales, and they have been the ROC distributor in Ontario for the past 3 years. Take it away, Kirk.
Well, first off, I want to thank Mel and Mark for asking us to come on here. My boss, he can't be with us today, Wayne. He's going to be off until the new year, but yeah, thank you so much for getting in contact with us, because I think ROC has just as much rate in this as everybody else. It's awesome. I want to thank Steve for the first presentation of actually letting everybody know what mergers are all about. That's a huge important part of it and why we're all here. So Mel does have a video here for me. Sorry, everybody, my video on my computer is not working. So
You'll get to see him in the video.
Yeah.
Shall I play it now, Kirk?
Yes, please.
Product specialist with ROC for Leading Edge Equipment. I'm going to be chatting a little bit about the ROC 1000. Kirk, can you tell us a little bit about the ROC 1000?
Yeah, the RT 1000. It's perfect size for the dairy guys that are running the triple more butterflies, the 10, 10, and 10. Matches up perfectly. You can put 7 rows into one. This unit here, we always bring them in with a 6-bar pickup. Some of the other competitors have a 5-bar. 6-bar seems to work better on lighter crop. Another great feature about this unit is the belt. It is not a single piece belt. You tear a belt, you pull out a piece, put in a new piece, you're done in 3 minutes, you're back going. Another great feature about the RT, underneath you are running on pneumatic tires. You're not running on skid plates. Other competitors are running on skid plates in early spring when it's wet or when it gets super dry with first year hay. Your skid plates will cut down through your new seating and knock off new leaf. With the tires it does not. You can also merge with 1 wing up or 2 wings up, depending on how heavy your crop is, how many you want to put in, rows you want to put into one.
So Kirk, how easy is it for the farmer to lift one side up or fold one side up, one side down? Is that an easy process for the farmer?
Very super simple, easy process. It's electric over hydraulic. If you want to merge with 1 wing up, as soon as it's put in a position, it does not run. The control box in the cab is super simple. Unit can be merged left or right, 2 belts left or right. You don't have to merge everything 30 feet to one side. It's a super great unit, best on the market as far as I'm concerned.
So Kirk, what sets this hay merger aside from other hay mergers in the market?
This one, the other features that I already mentioned, plus it's a much more compact unit. It's not super long, easier to turn around on the headlands, and takes less horsepower. When you don't have it dragging around in the field and the skid shoes around the tires, it takes a lot less horsepower to pull it. This unit here, 30-footer, only 90 horsepower PTO to run this unit. Some of the other competitors is quite a bit more.
The RT1000, what producer is this ideal for?
This unit is great for the custom hay operation, beef farmers and dairy guys. Also, they're now using them for merging corn stalks and also straw. That's built for a lot of use for every year.
So we're back here again with Kirk, this time with Kelly Tillage Systems.
That's it.
No more.
No more, stop. Excellent. Thanks, Kirk. Did you have any more to add on top of that?
No, if anybody has any questions on sizes or obviously with RT, if you have a 1000, it's 1000 centimeters. It's anything with prices or demos or anything like that, they can meet up with me in the breakout room.
Thanks a lot. Just quick question. Where are those built actually, the ROC?
ROC, they're built in Italy.
Italy?
Yeah. All parts and everything are here in Woodstock and also in Carroll, Michigan. There's a big warehouse there as well. But yeah, the main factory's in Italy.
Right. They're definitely a relatively new product in Ontario. I know I've seen them around for a few years and looking on the internet and things, but looks like another well-built machine.
Yes, I have quite a few people looking for used, but I can't find any, so
yeah,
give them up.
Fair enough. So yeah, like at this point, we'll just have a bit of a forage merger question and answer period just before we go off on a slightly different topic. There's been a few questions or a few comments in the chat there. Just can read that, but if anybody else have any questions or comments, or if any of the presenters have anything else they want to add, we can chat for a few minutes here.
And we also have a few users on the call too, if you want to just chime in, Walter or Adam. Any questions at all? It's just a free for all.
So just to get the discussion going a bit. So it looks like, well, I want to talk about maybe big mergers here first. So Oxbow now has the 40 footer, which is the first year for it, which is nice to see. So then looks like Kuhn actually has 42 foot, and ROC. What were the sizes of those again? The different model sizes, and ideally not in centimeters, if you can help it.
So the RT 1220 is their 40 foot. The RT 1000 is their 30 foot. The RT 730 is a 2-belt system. It's 20 feet of belt, so 10 and 10, and you can separate those and merge either left, right, or center. They do have other models, a 10 footer that goes on the front of tractor. They also have self-propelled model. It's the 840. It's a 2-belt system as well. Works exactly the same as a 730.
Right. Interesting. I didn't know there was a self-propelled model. I guess maybe that's next year's meeting, to go with the self-propelled models and get some info on them. I guess Oxbow also has this self-propelled merger. Steve, any feedback on that? I know they were, last time I talked with Ken, they were, or I don't know, they weren't seeming to take off as good as they thought. I don't know, any feedback on that?
I think that's a fair statement. We've sold a fair number of them. It did not replace the pull type at all. Actually, right now we're in the process. We have to for Tier 4 compliance. We've had to do a redo the engine because we're running Tier 3 engines. So, and also looking at putting these new style heads onto that, because that ran the same heads as the 334 previous merger you were talking about before, Mark did. So we're kind of in between right now, and honestly, looking at what is the market for self-propelled, and we still feel that there are some certain advantages. I talked about not driving on the hay, and certainly with self-propelled you don't drive on the hay, and the maneuverability of it. And also our sister company in Europe, Pluger is our sister company, and they're developing a self-propelled chassis for merging in Europe also. And so we hope to collaborate with them on going forward with the self-propelled. So it's not a huge market, but we think that it still has some growth potential.
That Pluger pickup, is that an Oxbow pickup, or is that their own design?
Oh, that's actually the same design as the Ryder pickup, which somebody asked a question about. I saw a little bit ago. So yeah. We've tested it here, haven't adapted it for North America. Our crops are a little different than they are in Europe, and one of the things that we have found, and I think probably in some of your guys' areas too, is that adaptability for alfalfa, triticale, rye, wheatledge, all those kind of things. We have to build a merger that's got a lot of capability to be versatile and handle all of those type of crops, and so that's we want to make sure if that's going to be able to do that as well as the heads that we have now. But whether we would use that type of head or the heads that we designed for our current mergers, we're still kind of going back and forth to get the best merger heads that we can put on for our market.
I got a question. For doing dry hay, mergers are beautiful because it's better to use the conveyor belt mergers than the rakes. But the biggest problem we face in our industry now that all rakes are getting too small for us, and not in terms of making massive windrows where you bring 80 feet into one, but where you have 80 feet but you can make 4 or 5 separate windrows for dry hay. Is this something that can be done with a merger? So you have speed, you have operating width, but you leave 4 or 5 individual windrows for baling dry hay. You know? Is that something you guys are working on, or is that an option? I get it for the forage harvesters, you want to bring as much as you can into the windrow, but for baling dry hay, that's not desirable.
That's a great comment, great question.
I would,
If you look
Yeah.
at some of the European designs, like the Reiter or Kuhn for that matter, which they don't sell here, they all bring those. A lot of those mergers go wide open to bring it in the center, right?
Yeah, it's not only the thing,
Dry
but
hay.
yeah, I've seen that, but like here we have all the tendency to bring as much as possible into one windrow, you know. But like from where I'm coming from, we now run the big square balers, the big 3x4s, and we can bale 100 acres in an afternoon, but we can rake it into decent windrows, you know. Because
We can-
all the rakes available, all the mergers available, they're not set up to do that.
we can like, and I think, I don't want to speak for the other manufacturer, but I think we're all the same, is that like with our mergers, you can split the conveyor. So for instance, on a three head merger like ours, you can run one conveyor one way, two the other way, so that you split that windrow, and so you can make it the size that you want depending on how heavy the crop is. And then we also have a curtain or a dry hay skirt that you mount out on the end of the conveyor so that it contains that windrow, so that it will fit within the width of the baler pickup. Does that answer your question, Fritz? And hopefully I am.
No, not quite. For example, we cut now, we spread out wide. Or if we cut narrow, we go in with an 80-foot tether from Stoll, for example, and or from Krone, and spread that hay out, you know. And then we want to put it into windrows. This is especially the first cut that are no wider than, let's say, 15 feet. You know? So we run the Miller Bros bridge rakes, or you can use them from Kuhn. Everybody has them, you know, those bridge rakes where you can put two side by side, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the total operating width and speed of those machines are getting too slow and too small. You know? So, like, you can make two individual windrows, but you have the speed and in the time windows we have to do that properly. We need to be able to do 80 feet or something like that, you know, at least 60 feet, and make 4 windrows, you know.
Mm.
Could you not look at a 4-rotor rake, Fritz, versus a merger?
Well, 4-rotor rake, if you can make 4 individual windrows.
Right.
You know, like if you only can use it to merge, then there's not much point having it for our business. You know? Like there's nothing wrong with the machines. It's just the hay industry, the way it's evolving, you know, where more bigger custom operators start doing hay, custom hay, dry hay, you know, not only silage. You still need to get that hay dry, you know, so that you can bale it as dry as possible. So raking is becoming the bottlenecks because we got butterfly mowers, we got massive balers, you know. We got the trucks to haul it home, but on the raking and merging side, we're starting to get behind in terms of capacity, being able to do acres per hour and this kind of stuff.
I bale a little bit of dry hay, probably not to the extent that you do, but like we use our Kuhn, we have 1100 Kuhn, and we use it to, like, we usually ted it, and then we do merge it with the 1100 and make big windrows that way for the 3x4 baler. And yeah, I've never waited for that merger. He's usually long ahead of me.
Yeah, yeah. But see, we don't want to merge into big windrows.
Well, it has to be ready to bale before you merge it, right? Pretty well.
Yeah. But then it's too dry to handle, you know. That's like The
little bit of
raking
dew
and
on it.
merging in dry hay should be part of the drying process. You should be able to do that earlier. And
But I guess that's an advantage with the coon merger with your with the netting up top. Like you notice a lot of leaves stay with the hay.
yeah,
Doesn't blow away in the wind. But I agree with what you're saying. A rake will lose leaves too, though. So.
well, yeah, absolutely. That's why you want to go earlier, you know. So you raked it up at 10 in the morning between 9 and 11, and then you let it sit.
You need 2 mergers going.
Well, not enough guys, not enough tractors. You want to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
We are going there. I mean, I'm not.
I hear you there.
So
This sounds like maybe a winter shop project to mount one merger on the front of the tractor and one on the back of the tractor or something.
Well,
But
yeah.
this is good discussion. We can talk about this and more later on in the breakout rooms. That's a real good platform to do that in later. We'll just keep moving on here. We'll hear from products from Kubota. So we got Travis Group. He'll be presenting on behalf of Kubota Canada. He's a product specialist for hay tools and crop care, and he's been with Kubota for 3 years. He works in the main Kubota office in Markham. Take it away, Travis.
Thanks, Mel and Mark and OPACA for letting Kubota, or giving Kubota the chance to talk. I got a quick 2-minute video I'd like to show you guys, and then I'll kind of go over and just talk about our rake and tedder line a little bit. So here you go.
Kubota hay tools are built right, built ready, and built on a strong heritage of innovative products that have been tested and proven for over 100 years. Now, we are building on our long-standing commitment to quality with a new 2-year standard limited warranty on all Kubota hay tools. And we're expanding our presence in Canada so we can be there for you when you need us, whether it's for parts, technical support, or new equipment. Our proud history of groundbreaking agriculture innovation spans more than a century, starting with notable inventions by Vicon and Kverneland in the 1900s, from the finger wheel rake in 1949 to the first rotary tedder in 1961 and the first disc mower conditioner combination in 1974. Today, under the Kubota brand, our approach to innovation is driven by a single purpose: to design, engineer, and build products that meet farmer demand and deliver results beyond expectations. Kubota hay tools are designed and engineered with the end goal in mind: delivering maximum productivity in today's hay and forage environment. Here in Canada, we are building a new, larger distribution center in Pickering, Ontario, and we've expanded our team of Canadian experts so we can better support farmers across the country. We're listening to your needs, from the day we dream of a new product to the day we deliver it and beyond. From disc mowers, disc mower conditioners, tedders and rakes, to balers and wrappers, our hay tools product line is supported by our strong network of dealers in your local communities. And now we're backing those products with a standard 2-year limited warranty that is among the industry's best. It's just one more thing we are doing to help your farm operation achieve the most productive hay and forage crops possible. Our strong heritage is built on innovating hay tools that are built right and built ready to grow with you, today and well into the future, so you can do your best work without worry. Kubota, for Earth, for life.
So
Oh my goodness, Travis, I want one. I don't even care what it is.
I don't even need to
Amazing
make it.
video.
I don't need to do any more pitching, do I?
No.
Yeah, again, I'd like to thank Mel and Mark and OPACA for letting us present a little bit. Just wanted to go over kind of our rakes and tedders assortment, because I know that was the theme for this year's presentation. But I just want to go over a quick history lesson. I know a lot of people are maybe not aware of that Kubota is just putting orange paint on some piece of equipment. We're actually developed that line of equipment. And it's come from a couple different manufacturers that we've acquired over the years. So 1879 was when Kverneland itself was founded. Kverneland, known for making plows and tillage equipment. That's kind of where they started off with. Kubota itself was started in 1880, building of all things water ductile water pipes. So we didn't start out in tractors, but we started out helping with the farming, getting water to farms and stuff like that. 1910, another brand that you guys probably are aware of is Vicon. They were started as a basically as a custom operator in I believe it was Holland or the Netherlands. So that's where they started. And then 1976 is when Great Plains themselves came to fruition. 1998. Kverneland actually bought Vicon out, so they merged. Both brands still exist in Europe, but you see more and more of the Kverneland stuff, more so than the Vicon, but they both still exist. And then 2012, Kubota purchased or acquired a Kverneland group, so we have the Kverneland and the Vicon brand. And then 2016, Kubota acquired the Great Plains, so we gained Great Plains manufacturing out of the States, that they build some of the Hay Tools products that I'll show you as well. And then just come 2020, Kubota, well, 130 years later, we're celebrating our 130-year anniversary, as well as Kubota Canada. We started back in 1975, so we were celebrating 45 years this year. So there will be a test after this, so make sure you remember all this. On the rake line, just quick overview of kind of our offering here in Canada. So some of this stuff is available still as a Kverneland brand. We do have dealers still wanting to bring Kverneland stuff in because there's a legacy of product or a legacy in that name. So should you be interested in any Kverneland product, a lot of it, most of it's still available. But this is kind of how our rake line breaks down. We've got, I kind of call it 5 different offerings. So we have our single rotor rakes varying from 10 to 15 feet. We got our, what I call our dual rotor versatile rake, meaning you can rake from side to side, 2 rows into one single row. All sorts of configurations. It's offered in an Evo and a Vario model, working from 21 to 23 feet, depending on if you want to do single swath or dual swath. We also offer a wheel rake assortment, both a 8, a 10, and a 12 wheel rake, going from 16 feet to 25 feet. Those are built here in North America at the Great Plains manufacturing facility, as well as we have now also center delivery and side delivery. So we have center delivery, obviously you guys know, bringing the hay into the middle, making one large windrow. We offer those in ranges from 23, 25 to 27 feet, with some hydraulic adjustability to control your windrow width and operating width, as well as there's the side delivery, which work in either 22 up to 25 foot working range. Some of these are capable. They're a center frame that carries the 2 rotors, and it gives you the ability to either do one large row or one large swath, or bring 4 essentially into one, or do 2 smaller windrows, depending on what kind of piece of equipment you're feeding. So we have a wide variety of rake options depending on what you guys are looking to do. And I guess feel free to talk to you more about those in the in our breakout room. Then also there's a complete tedder lineup that we offer as well. They range from, we have 4, 6, 8, and 10 basket tedders. So that's what these the 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and 10,000 series means. And then they vary in working width. So the 4 baskets, a 17-foot model. There's what we call it a trailed machine. So basically these wings fold in behind each other or beside each other, so to get a nice narrow transport width. They are ranging from a 27-foot or 36-foot working width. Then we have a what we call a carrier frame, where the wheels fold down behind the tedder and then carry that either over the headlands or down the road. We offer those in a 24, 29, and a 36 foot working width. And then we also have the really big guy with 10 rotor rake up to 45 feet working width. So we do have a lot of versatility and flexibility as far as offering. Again, these are all Kverneland built products that have been kind of stood the test of time, and they're very well tested and very well known. So just kind of give you guys a quick and dirty overview. Again, I welcome chatting with you in our breakout room if you have any more questions regarding any of this equipment. So again, if you ever feel free to reach out to me at travis.grube@kubota.com if you have any questions. So thanks again for giving us the opportunity to talk about our product offering. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. And we'll follow up with everyone's contact information to all the participants as well. So if you didn't catch his email. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. That it's good to see a 45-foot tedder out there. Like we don't really do tedding on our farm here, but definitely that would be a bottleneck in hay production, is getting that hay tedded out once it's the right condition to get it done fast. And I'm assuming it's a job nobody likes to do. Sounds kind of boring, but 45 feet would really get that done quick. Just see a question on the side here. What kind of horsepower does that require? Traditionally, you think a tedding tractor just has to be a 50 horsepower open station thing, but what are we looking at?
For that 45 foot, the biggest thing is because the tedder's out over the back axle, it's got it will have a bit of a negative load on the drawbar. So we'd like to see a larger, not necessarily horsepower wise, but we need a larger frame tractor. So somewhere around that 90 horsepower is kind of a good spot, maybe a bit more, just to have that the comfort when you're running that much tedder out back. We've updated our 36 foot to put it in front of the wheels. So the back axle lifts it up. That gives us a lot more flexibility as horsepower. We can drop it down to about 70 horsepower to run that 36 foot tedder. So a lot of flexibility there.
Neat. Yeah, the Kubota history is pretty neat to see too. Yeah, it seems they really stepped up their presence in Ontario lately. It's good to see. Yeah, next we'll move on to Willem Vandekamp from Connect Equipment. He's just going to give us a rundown of what Connect has to offer. Willem's been a mechanic actually for 8 years with them, and in the last year or so he's moved on into sales. Again, let's hear what he's got to say, and then we'll have more chats later in the breakout rooms.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Ken for the presentation on the coon murders. That was excellent. So we're a full line coon dealer for the hay equipment anyways. So I'm gonna try and get this working here. I'll show you guys our website, what you can find on there. So basically all of our equipment, is that working there? Is that up or?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Starting to load. There we go.
There we go. So this is our website here. Any new equipment, you can go to our showroom, find what we have to offer by clicking on showroom. Once it loads here, there it is. So there's all our different brands that we sell at Connect. Also, our used equipment is under the equipment tab, used equipment. And if you're looking for used equipment, it'll come up with anything used there. Also, I don't know, since this is a hay and forage meeting, I thought I would share the ultra high density baler that Massey came out with last year. It's kind of a neat feature for them. All the industries seem to be going heavier and heavier for bales, and this is kind of a leading edge for AGCO here. So any questions on that, let me know how we can help.
Thanks, Willem. That It's quite the nice looking baler. Looks like it's something that comes from outer space, but that's the way most balers seem to be going these days, with that futuristic look. There's a question there. What kind of weight goes in those bales from the Massey baler? That's a hot topic these days, getting those bales heavy. Any ideas on that, Willem?
I've seen them as heavy as 1,800, 2,000 pounds.
Oh, wow. Willem, are you still there? Oh.
I've seen them run in Alberta mostly at Barrack. They do 25,000 acres of hay a year, and they run them with 1050 fence. That's what it takes to run those things, and yeah, they make bales up to 2,000 pounds.
Wow.
I'm still here. What was the question?
The Massey baler, what kind of weight on those bales?
Yeah, so the advertised weight on those for straw was 1,500 pounds, and I believe on hay was 1,800. But it also depends on your moistures, right? The wetter it is, the heavier it's going to be. But for straw, 1,500 pound bale.
That's talking for a 8-footer or bale, or?
That's a 7-foot.
7-foot.
Any other questions for Kubota, or are you saving them for the breakout room? Yeah, Fritz, let's hear. Fritz, no one can pronounce your last name.
It's from Jerseyville, near Brantford.
From Jerseyville, from Dunlea Farms.
So I'm the chair of the Ontario Hay and Forage Cooperative, and that is a group of 60 farmers that grew out of the Ontario Forage Council. And the idea is that we start exporting Ontario hay to overseas markets in double compacted form in containers. So our goal is to seriously improve hay production in Ontario, to get it up to quality and packaging standards that will work in the international markets. And for that purpose, we have done a lot of work on how can we de-risk hay harvesting, and how can we make hay harvesting more economically and more and a lot faster. And so the idea we need dryers for big square balers, and Chris Martin, as you all know, with the Chinook dryer. I have the prototype number 2 here, so we worked for years on getting those dryers going. And there's now a very usable, good model of big bale square dryers available. There's also a second type of dryer available that was developed in Quebec for Norfoyn, the Maillot family. And those are batch dryers where you basically shove them into a drying chamber 2 bales high, and you dry them overnight or whatever long it takes. But basically, we have now a fair number of actual good working dryers that can dry big square bales of hay. So that puts us into a position where we can go to what we call a 48-hour hay harvesting system, where we would cut hay in the night or very early in the morning, ted it right away, let it sit all day, ted it again the next morning, and then rake it or merge it into not crazy wide windrows, because the wide windrows and big windrows make it too uneven in moisture for drying. So, and then bale it on the end of the second day with roughly 25% moisture and finish the drying in the dryers. So basically all dry hay comes off the fields in 48 hours. So this is the goal we are working on. We also developed what we call a double cropping system for timothy and soybeans, where we start soybeans, where we take soybeans off at the end of September. drill in pure timber seed, let it grow over the winter. Take one cut off in the middle of June, and then put it back into soybeans. And we have developed a pretty successful strategy for that, and where we can get fairly good tonnage for good quality timber seed, which is quite valuable in the market, and still get a decent soybean crop afterwards. So to make all that work, and one of the reasons we're doing all that is that we don't have enough forages and green crops in our rotations in Ontario, and we start losing topsoil all over the place. And so, but you can't tell people, okay, start growing hay without having a market for it to sell it. So one way to sell more hay is to go into the overseas markets, which are incredibly massive. It's a $10 billion market worldwide. And we can, time to go to church.
No kidding.
I'll call him back after this. And, but for this, you need a double compaction facility. So we are in the process right now to put an investor group together with members from the co-op and other people. And we are planning to install fairly shortly a big double compaction facility at Chris Martin's place in Alma. This machine will be able to do 30,000 tons a year on one, and kind of opens up the possibility on farmers to really get into those markets, because they now can double compact and they can dry the hay and they can harvest it on a risk profile that's no bigger than what we risk when we grow grains. And so this is what we are working on right now. So we just had some investor meetings. We are rounding up the money to get that machine, which is not as cheap as it looks, but you know, that's with all machines. And hope to have that running by spring. And
wow.
So in terms of OPACA with machines, to make cropping hay attractive to cash croppers, certain things need to be happening, you know, like the livestock guys that does it for himself, he kind of sucks it up and does it, you know. But if you want to make it as part of a cash crop operation, you need to be fast, efficient. Most of them have big tractors, so they can handle big mergers, big rakes, and big tethers, you know? And to bring it in terms of workload and risk to the grain market level. You know? And this is where I come in when I say, okay, we need those machines to be large, but they can still make a bunch of individual windrows to accommodate drying expenses.
How does the export market look, Fritz? Like where have you exported it, and is there quite a demand? Like what are they going for?
The demand worldwide is about $10 billion a year, and it's massive. You know, it's huge. And markets are in Asia, China, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, Vietnam. There's also a large market in the Caribbean. There's a huge market in the Arabian countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, all those countries, Kuwait, and because they are basically running out of water. So they made the decision a couple of years ago, they don't want to use fresh water anymore for irrigating forages, and so subsidizing the milk producers to buy the forages on the world market. So Saudi Arabia buys now, or will have started on, it will ramp up to between 3 and 4 million tons per year. You know? So those are massive, massive markets.
Where would they be getting them if not from here? Who else?
From everywhere. You know, it's a competitive market. A lot of it comes from Western Canada, Western US, some from Eastern Europe. And Spain is a big producer, Argentina.
Any questions for Fritz? We've got just maybe 2 minutes before I'll send you off into the trade show.
Fritz, do you use, is there any scenario where you'd put some acid on that hay to keep it good? Like if you're going to be maybe behind with a hay dryer, just to keep the hay fresh, do you ever use acid?
Yes, we do that. Yeah.
Like all the time, or just?
No. Like if we know we get it through the dryer in 24 hours or so, it's fine.
Right. And do you have a rough idea what does it cost to dry? Like, I don't know what units you want to use, but
the energy costs fairly similar than drying corn. It's the capital costs, like a dryer fully set up, is about 200 to 225 or somewhere in the neighborhood, depending what kind of setup you have.
right. So if you're running similar BTUs per hour as a corn dryer, like how many bales an hour or bales a day or tons? How many ton an hour, I guess, can you dry?
Well, depends on the moisture of the stuff, but let's say you have 22% mixed hay. You can run 3x3 bales, about 15 to 18 per hour through the dryer. So it's not massive capacity, but it's sufficient for most farms.
Yep.
And you have a window to run it through the night. And if you know you have a huge amount, then you protect it with acid to keep it from heating before you get it to the dryer.
Thanks.
One last question. I've also made it a hallway / hay co-op area that you can, if you wanted to talk to Fritz about the co-op. It does seem like it'd be a nice partnership to work with some of our members if you do need some of that bigger equipment. Definitely keep in touch. So yes, this ends the discussion. And but if you do have to go, we understand. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much to our speakers for just that nice brief look into all the different equipment that's available. And I will be following up with everyone's contact information, following up from this too. Yeah, and we'll keep you in the loop about other OPACA events. So we're sad that we can't see you in real life and can't kick real tires, but it's still nice to see your face or at least read your name. Okay.
Hey Mel, can
Yeah.
I just give a quick unscheduled shout out to Viren de Sosa? He's on here.
Yes.
Yeah, he's smiling there, but he well, maybe just bump into him in the hallway, I guess. And so just so everybody knows, he actually has well, he'll explain it better, but a company, he sells Orcal balers, like a silage compact baler and stuff. So kind of ties in kind of nicely to this meeting regarding forages and hay. So I just thought I'd let everybody know that if you bump into him in the hallway or whatever, or stay in this room, and
ask him about that.
Yeah.